Hello, friends. Today we are going to talk about the Maths Olympiad preparation, and also we are going to talk about the different tips and tricks which will come quite handy while preparing for it. While interacting with parents, I realized that most of the time they have no idea how to make their kids prepare for the Olympiads because they still believe in the conventional method of making their kids practice the question from the textbook, which, however, does not help in solving the Olympiad's questions. So, I often heard them complaining that in spite of their kids practicing all the questions from the textbook, still was not able to solve the questions in Olympiad. Because though the IMO follows the same curriculum, but its questions are totally different from that of the regular ones. And it is this difference that we are going to deal in the coming slides. So, what exactly is the difference between the two exams? While going through the previous year's question paper, I could able to point out a few. The first thing which I noticed was the mixing up of skills. What happens in Olympiad is that instead of asking a straight question, they'll mix different skills in one question. The second thing is higher grade question. Sometime a question for a particular class, let's say class 5, will use the concepts taught in class 6 or 7, and it is a common practice in Olympiad. And the third thing is like questions are asked in such a way to confuse the student, and it is done intentionally. So the answer might be simple, but the question itself is structured to confuse. So let's discuss the first difference, that is mixing of skills. We'll try to understand this by using an example. So we have an Olympiad question which says that there are two tap A and tap B. Tap A, which has a circular opening of 1 centimeter of radius, fills a tank in 40 minutes. And then there's another tap called tap B, which has a circular opening of 2 centimeter of radius. So if both the taps are open together, find the time taken to fill the tank. So at a first glance, this question will look difficult for a middle grade student. But if we observe it carefully, we'll find that it has basically two parts. The first part is asking about the time taken by the second tap to fill the tank. And once it is known, then we have to find the total time taken by both the taps to fill the tank. So let's come to the first part. Since the radius of the circular opening of the second tap is given, we can find out its area by using the normal method, that is area is equals to pi r square. And then using the concept of proportions, we can actually find out the time taken by the second tap to fill the tank. And once when we have both the times, and using the concept of inverse proportion, we can find out the total time taken to fill the tank when both the taps are open together. So in this way, in one question, we can see the different skills, the different concepts are mixed together, from area of circle to the concept of proportion to inverse proportion. And all this is done to check the understanding of the student, how well they understand different concepts. Now coming to the second difference, that is a higher grade questions. So if we look at this question, we have to find the area of this shape, and it is neither a rectangle nor a triangle. It's actually a complex shape. So it might be, this question might be asked in a grade when the kids are taught only to find out the area of rectangle. So in that case, this shape is too complex for them. But if we actually observe this question, we can find out that this question, that this complex shape can be actually divided into two known shapes. The first is a rectangle, which is shown in a red dotted line, and the second one is a blue triangle, which is shown in the blue dotted line. So now we can say that area of this shape is equals to area of rectangle plus area of triangle. And since area of rectangle has been taught how to find out its area, so this area of the rectangle can easily be find out. Now comes the area of triangle. So it might be the case that the kids don't know how to find out the area of the triangle. But if they use some common sense, we can see that the area of the triangle is basically half of the area of the rectangle shown in the green dotted line. So once you know the area of this rectangle, the bigger rectangle, you can find out the area of triangle by just dividing it in two. So now this area of the complex shape is basically the area of the rectangle plus half the area of the bigger rectangle. And since the kids know how to find out the area of the rectangle, so now they can solve this question. So so we can see that this question might look a bit difficult, but if the kids have done regular practice, they have solved this kind of questions before, they can use their common sense and they can solve this question in no time. They just need to use their common sense, but this common sense will come only when they have practiced the questions before. But of course, it is easier said than done. So let's look at the third difference, that is about the confusing questions. So we have a question about the pair of socks. So here the question says that Sulekha has 8 pair of black socks and 8 pair of blue socks. So if all the socks are put in a bag and if she has to pick the socks without looking at them, how many socks she has to remove from the bag before she can be sure that she has a pair of a single color? So in this, while answering this question, most of the kids, they'll have a tendency to use the given number in the question. That is they'll try to use the number 8, because they feel that if it is given in the question, then to find the answer this thing has to be used, though it sounds odd, but that is basically what the trend is. However, if we look at the answer is 3, because if Surekha she picks out 3 socks, it will guarantee her to find out a correct match, a correct pair of socks, because it could be either all blue, all black, one blue, two black, or one black and two blue. But in all the cases, 3 socks is the minimum of 3 socks is guaranteed to get her the correct pair of socks. But in most of the cases, the answer that we'll find out is either 17, 16, 8, because somewhere the kids get confused by the information, though it is of no use, but they get confused by the information and they try to use that information. And in the process, disregarding the basically what question actually wants. So in this kind of question, the trick is to remain focused on the question and try to discard any kind of redundant information that is given there. So now we have been looking at the difference between the regular examination and the Olympiad examination. But in this slide, we'll see that how this difference can map to the number of questions. So in the regular examination, we have concepts like algebra, probability, trigonometry, fractions, geometry. And based on these concepts, there are clear questions asked from these concepts, like trigonometric question will be from trigonometry concept, geometry question will be from geometry concept, fractions will be clearly from fraction concepts. And if these patterns is followed, then per grade we can make around 500 type of questions. This is a rough figure, but this is around how much questions can be made out of it if we follow the same pattern. And when you practice enough question, you are sure of solving the question that will come in the regular examination, because you must have solved either any of the question in your practice. So let us look at the question pattern of an Olympiad examination. So if we look at the question patterns of Olympiad, there is no clear-cut boundaries in a question, because one question can use different skills from fractions to algebra to geometry. Or for example, in a single question you can get concepts from trigonometry to algebra to probability. So this is like the kind of question which comes in Olympiad. That is the concept of mix. That is the application of mixed concept. Now, the second pattern which comes in Olympiad question is the use of extended concept. So, what exactly do we mean by extended concept? Extended concept means that the question requires the use of an existing concept plus you have to use your common sense to find out the final answer. So that is basically what we mean by extended concept. And the third element in the question pattern of an Olympiad is the confusing elements. That is, one part of a question deals with a concept, given concept like fraction, but the other part is structured in such a way to confuse the students. So, in that case, the student has to be really focused to find out the answer. So, when we look at the pattern of the Olympiad question, we can see that using such pattern, the amount of question that can be made per grade is could be more than 50,000 as compared to the normal 500 uh, question that could be made in a regular examination per grade. So there is no comparison between the amount of question which can be made in a regular examination versus the amount of question made in a normal Olympiad question. So we understood that Olympiads are tough. They're actually very tough and complex. But then what has to be done before an examination? The first thing is to identify all the skills of a topic and at the same time just make sure that you understand all of them clearly. Second is to understand the concept of skills, and for that NCRT books are the best. So always try to understand the theory from the NCRT books, and in case of any doubt, don't hold yourself back. Just consult it immediately with your teacher, or there nowadays a lot of expert forums happening online. For example, Educate Q&A. So you can take help from there as well, and of course practice as much as you can, because practice is so what is that we need to do when we are giving an Olympiad examination? The very first thing is do not panic. It's a regular examination, and without panicking, read the question completely and very carefully. Because in exams like Olympiad, the questions could be very confusing. So it is actually okay to spend extra second to understand the question rather than answering it wrong and then again going back to the question and reading it again. And if the question looks tough, then the trick is to try to break the problem into parts, because no matter how hard the question might look, the all the skills that are used in the question are already taught to you in the class. So you already know them, you just need to apply it. And of course, you need to identify and apply the correct skill, and at the same time, you need to apply the correct combination of skills as well. And as discussed in the previous slides that sometimes you have to use the extended concepts. So now Olympiads are over, and what to do? The first thing is just relax and stop worrying about how you perform, because what is done cannot be undone, and then there's no point crying over the spilled milk. So just relax. Second thing is don't think too much about the silly mistakes that you might have made, because you're not alone. Everyone makes them, so there is no need to lose your sleep over it. It's very normal for every student, not only for you. And the good thing is just take a break for a couple of days and feel relaxed after it, and then start preparing for the next year examination. And of course, practice is the key, so just practice as much as you can. Thank you all for watching this video, and best of luck for your coming Olympiad examinations.